bottom one when you want to take the wheel off, because it makes much easier pull out the wheel than your chain will be anywhere down here. When it's down on the bottom, it's very easy comes out and very easy goes in, because it's just the spacing the way when the wheels are, it's just perfect. Okay, so if you get the flat, and there's sometimes people who has a carbon wheels, which he does. Usually those wheels take special tire levers. It's designed for only carbon rims, but any other rims with aluminum brake surface, you could use basically any kind of tire levers you want to. So pretend we're taking the wheel off.
Can you do it from like the ground? Because we won't have a cute little stand when we like
You
don't carry one of those with you?
Works better. Just from the bottom, basically, you could take through clean stuff and it will just come out. But can I just put it out here instead of putting it on the ground? I don't think you will be happy.
You don't put the bike upside down on the seat? And
No, you don't really want to. If you have a good seat, $20 seat, you put it upside down, just scratch the seat. If you could just lean on one side of the board against the tree, you know, don't put it upside down. You have brake levers, it might be move the position and the saddles. It's harder to put the tire wheel on when it's upside down. I'll show you how it goes in, very easy. So you got the wheel in your hands basically. What you do, you don't want to start taking the tire off where the valve is, because where the valve is, the tires are much tighter spot because of the valve. When you want to start taking the tire off the wheel, start from opposite side where the valve is. It's a good thing. I could do this basically in one tire levers, but I know it's going to be hard some of you. And what you do, like just try with your thumb, just push the tire, pull the tire in, and tire lever goes right there. And the good thing with the way you want to take the tire off, you could use one, like I said to me, one tire lever. Just the way my fingers are right there, basically just supporting the tire lever and just touching it and pressing it to the rim with my fingers and keeping the lips as much as out possible. What we would do, just screw it. Okay. It just will come off like this nicely.
And by now all the air would be out of the tire.
Yeah, say if you get a flat, it's already out, okay? You pull the tire and basically, so you don't need this. Before you put it in new inner tube inside, always make sure with your fingers if there is no thorns or piece of glass left inside the tire. Just don't worry, it will not hurt you. Don't push so hard, but you could feel if there is clean. As soon as you make sure it's like completely nice and clean, there's no thorns, then what you do, just take the...
How often will there be little tchotchkes inside?
What is it? I'm sorry?
How often will you find little like bits of glass or bits of thorn? How often do
You check every time you get a flat, because
and when
you never
get
know.
flats, how often do you get the little things?
It's never can tell, because sometimes you get the thorn and comes out, sometimes it will stay there. So that's why I'm saying you just gotta make sure it's anytime you get a flat, just put your fingers and make sure that it's clean. Right. But sometimes people, without doing that, if you put a new inner tube, you pump the air and flat right away again. So that's one thing you gotta make sure. When you're ready to input like a new inner tube, you always gotta make sure, always, have a little bit air inside the inner tube. If you don't have air, you try to put it this way, you're gonna have a hardest time. So you could use, you won't put a 40 pounds, but you will go like maybe, this is perfect, like anything like this. And now you start find the hole.
So you opened it, blew into it, and closed it.
Yes. So
with your tongue,
when I
like
put in
what?
the hole, air doesn't lose. Okay. Now this is completely opposite what we're gonna do when you take the tire off. You make sure so one side is there nicely with your fingers. Try fit the inner tube inside the rim. Not just push it inside the rim all around.
Can you just ride with me?
And just make sure that inner tube is inside the rim like this, as much as possible. This is gonna make your job much easier. Now you go back where the valve is, not that side, not the opposite side. When you take the tire off, now you start from the valve side. And with your fingers, like what you do, just bring it down, push it in and fit inside and start just holding out and just fit the tire inside the rim. When you get in about this point right here, what do? You come back and where the valve is, try push in. What this does, basically, the bolt part on the inner tube goes completely inside the tire and you pull it out. Gives you a little bit more room. Tire fits nice and fit, and when down there, that helps the tire just fitting very quick. And go back there, and working on a bike is the most important thing in the wheels. How you hold the wheel, what position you take. You can't just take this and start doing tri-fit like this, you know. You gotta always have a good feel, nice leverage, so you don't have to hurt your hands, and have a good support anything you do. Like right now when I get down there, I use my belly just like this, have a nice support, okay? And when you get this point, now because your inner tube nicely fit inside, when you get this point, now you don't have to hurt your finger. You could do this without using a tire levers. Use your pump right here. It gets down here, it's done.
Wow.
Okay?
That was beautiful.
Say, now we're having a hard time to go put the inner tube in it, tires on there, because say it's a little bit tight fit. So if you have to use a tire lever, so you can't use, I mean, some of you would be hard to do that. When you try to use tire levers, you gotta make sure to not stick the lever so much inside the rim. This way you're gonna punch the inner tube. Always be very gentle. If it's right here, as soon as you go a little bit up this way, try help with your other hands, fit the tire inside. Instead of doing this, which already punches the inner tube right here. Go a little bit, push it in like this, and try with other hand just fit the tire inside so you don't have to punch the inner tube. And again, make sure you have the valve nicely pushed in, open up, and put it there. That's it. When you're ready to put in there, like say pretend, the reason I said you have to have the chain always to the bottom gear, because this makes much easier. What you do, just make sure the chain is right on the bottom gear, the way you started. It's like you can't do, because you pull out right here, you don't want to put a chain on any other gears. You want to go all the way to the bottom again. And it's just basically now we have a technical difficulty down here. And well, it's just gotta happen on Brian's bike. Yeah, it's right there.
He doesn't
And
need
just
to
make
stop.
sure the wheel is on it. I got to fix the brake. Make sure like wheel in the center, and you could hold it one side, and there's a different type of quick releases. Like this specific one, you can, some of them open up and close with the compression, but this one, for example, doesn't have that, so you have to turn it around until you feel the tightness. Yeah, just make sure the oil is just pretty tight and the wheel is right in the center. Sometimes, I mean, that's not happen, so at least you gotta come over here if you don't have the right tool. Or at least this way you could move with your hands back and forth, side to side, instead of panic, you know, say I'm not gonna ride the bike because the brake pad is touching it. With your fingers you could move the brake caliper side to side and just will let you ride the bike. Okay?
I don't know what that means.
The thing is, what happened, this Brian has the most perfect rear brake.